Welcome into the lounge presented by DraftKings. We have the pleasure of sitting down with first-round pick wide receiver Zay Flowers. Thank you for joining us, Zay.
Yeah, thanks for having me.
So first question for you. I don't know if you've heard this, but Lamar thinks that you've hit a growth spurt since you entered the NFL. So in June, he said he swears you're like 6'1", 6'2". Is there any truth to this? You're listed at 5'9".
I saw you walk in. I'm like, he's looking 6'2". I mean,
yeah.
big.
No, man, it's not. It's not true. And I know. As soon as I seen it, I said, I texted him. I was like, bro, ain't no way you telling people I'm 6'2" now.
That's hilarious. Yeah, was he like when you met up in Florida? Was he like getting out the tape measure? Was he doing height check?
Nah, we was both laughing about it, and we just went on about it because I was messing with him, saying. Because, we from Broward County, and I was like, oh, that's that Dade stuff. Like, that's what they do in Dade. Like when you say that.
Okay.
Garrett was kind of buying into it. You were like, I swear he looks a little taller.
He's getting taller.
Who was that person you were referencing who grew in the pros? Who was it?
Yeah, I first started to say, I was like, I think Kyle Hamilton grew, this whole season.
Yeah, that's true.
And then I said that Giannis, like once he got to the pros, he grew a couple inches after he got
Garrett was buying the
So I was like, maybe he actually is 6'2". So there you go.
Maybe my shoes was different.
Yeah, exactly.
So how were the workouts with Lamar? Like we saw all the videos and all that stuff. You, Lamar, OBJ. Like how was that?
It was good learning from the vets. Like trying to get a connection with Lamar, learning stuff from Odell, like what and what not to do, learning diva sense from him, and how to run routes and how to be patient in certain routes. So working out with them added a little bit more to my game, I would say, during this break.
Yeah. Really? So you feel like just that time that you spent a couple of days working, like you feel like that time actually, you feel like you add stuff to your game through those workouts? Yeah,
because I can see how Lamar like throw. I get a feel for how he's like throwing the ball and where like what type of connection we would have. And then it's just more like he talking to me about running routes and how to break during this time and how I should run this route. So, and I'm just adding that. Then I went out with my coaches today, and I'm just adding them in my game.
That's awesome.
That is awesome. So when you are putting these workouts together, what's the process? Okay, so who initiates? Who starts the text chain? Who's the mastermind behind these workouts?
Me.
Really?
Yeah.
Really?
Yeah, I started off
as a rookie. Okay, so you said let's work.
Yeah, as soon as I got down there, I let them know like we're gonna be working here. Lamar texted me like we're gonna go to this park. Then like the first day I got down there, I think I ran with Lamar on the beach. Then he gave me the address to the park, and then every day I text him and be like, "Yo, we going today?" And he'll be like, "Yeah, 3 p.m." And then I'll be like, "All right, bet." Then I'll shoot a text, "Oh, we throwing at 3."
Nice. That's awesome. Kind of coordinating.
Yeah.
I mean, it just seems like you're a guy who there aren't days off. Like you just love the work and embrace the grind is kind of a Ravens term. Like, is that just kind of how you've always been wired?
Yeah, I've been like that since high school. Like when I first got my first offer, it haven't stopped. Like ever since then, I just been feeling like I got something to prove.
Right.
So I work every day.
Right. I do want to ask one clarifying question about these workouts. Is it mandatory that the wide receivers not wear a shirt? Is that like you're not allowed? You come out for workout, you cannot wear a shirt. The video camera's out. Is that mandatory?
I mean, by that time, I already did 2 workouts in Florida, and it's like 103 degrees. So I'm out there. I'm on turf. It's blue turf too, so it's extra hot.
Okay, I got you.
So I'm like, all right, I'm coming out the shirt.
It's mandatory that I stay in my shirt at all times. So I get it. I get it.
And the last question I have about those workouts, like, is there also the friendship piece? Like, I feel like there's the on-field that you're talking about, which is really interesting, but it also seems like the chemistry in terms of you and Lamar, you and Odell, it seems like it's already strong, but it's even getting like to a greater extent just by being friends and working and spending time together.
Yeah, because we just hang out. Like while we working out, we still laugh. We talk about other stuff, not just football, but like you can see it's coming together. I feel like our relationship, our connection, and once everybody get involved, it's going to be even better for the team.
Does it mean something to you to learn from Odell?
Absolutely. I was in high school, school when he caught that pass, and I used to be like, it'd be crazy if I like get a chance to play with him. But in my thoughts, I was like, I just got to go make that happen. Like try to get to the next level. and now I'm able to play with him.
So what's he like? Like, what are your first impressions of OBJ?
He's funny. Funny. He want to joke all the time, but it's like it's times when he's serious. Like you'll know when he's serious when he hit the field,
right?
And he ready to work.
Right. Lamar seems like he's very much the same way. I mean, he's funny too.
He is.
So you two must just be having a good old time out there.
Yeah, we like from the same area, so we already know like a lot of the same things.
Right.
I've also heard with Odell that some people have said like, when they realize how hard he works, like all the reputation, he's like such a famous athlete and the catch and all this stuff. But like, then once you actually work out with him, you're like, oh my gosh, this guy takes it to another level in the workouts. Was that your experience?
So I ain't really work out like this in the gym with him. It was just on the field.
Yeah.
But on the field, yeah, you can tell. Like he activated, he having fun, like he ready to go, and everything, every drill and everything mattered to him.
Right.
That's cool.
So dropping this week are the Madden ratings. I don't know. Did you see yours?
Yeah.
77. I can tell already. Not real happy with that one.
Yeah, it's all right. Not too bad.
Right. I think you were the second highest rookie wide receiver in the tied for the second fastest or something like that.
Yeah, I think so. Yeah.
So
and we gonna get it up. We're gonna get it up. We gonna get it up. It's all right now.
Were you always like as a kid? Were you a Madden player?
I'm making my player 99. Everything. Agility,
he's already adjusted himself.
Acceleration, juke, everything was 99.
Yeah.
But we gonna work there. We gonna work to get there.
Is it kind of crazy to be like, oh my gosh, I'm gonna be in the game?
Super crazy. I already seen so you could play like this Madden Ultimate Team.
Yeah.
And my brother opened a pack and it was like the 99 version of me.
Yeah.
And I was like, that's crazy. That's crazy.
That's neat.
So as you're here, your first training camp, you just reported, and you're going to be on the practice field soon with the rest of the guys. Like, what are your feelings going into your first NFL training camp?
Go play how you play. Don't change it for nobody. Always be yourself. So just go out there and grind like I always did.
Are there any like specific goals that you have? Are you one of those guys like you have a whiteboard and you put up goals and all that stuff? Like, are there any training camp goals for you?
I haven't wrote them down yet. I was planning on doing that Sunday, but
okay.
I plan on doing it like right before. But
so is it a literal whiteboard? Like
it is a whiteboard. It's kind of like probably like this big, this wide. And I just write them all across.
All right. And have you kind of already started thinking about your season goals? Like, when do those go on the whiteboard?
No, I got to get through training camp first.
Did you do that before your last year at Boston College?
Oh, absolutely.
And what were some of the goals that were on there? Do you remember?
I think it was 1,300 yards, like 13 touchdowns, break all the receiving records, break it, like the receiving, the yards, and the touchdowns, break all those.
Yeah.
And then go first round.
Right. All right. So we got some checks on that board then, huh?
Except one, the 1,300. I'll take it.
Yeah. So I like it. You go lofty with your goals. There's a lot of buzz that's building around you for sure. There's, Sal Paolantonio, a longtime NFL reporter, was talking this week about how he's excited about what you're going to bring to the offense. And there's just a lot of, I think, buzz and excitement around you, your ability, this offense, and this team. So when you hear those things and you see that stuff, how do you take that?
Honestly, it really don't mean nothing. You got to put in the work and go show it before anybody can say anybody can say anything before the season. It's just an opinion. You got to go put the work in to show it, and then that matter. Mm-hmm. But that's how I look at it.
Mm-hmm. I'm curious. So far in OTAs and minicamp, like what's been the most challenging part of being an NFL wide receiver now?
I say building a schedule because I got a lot more free time. So like just making sure I'm always where I'm supposed to be and on point. Right. And taking care of my body. I'll say that's the hardest thing.
Interesting. So are the vets, like I would imagine OBJ is giving you a lot of advice on treatment and all that kind of stuff.
Yeah. So I asked him and Nelson, because they like more of the vets.
Right.
So I try to ask them for a plan and what they do, and they'll give me tips here and there on what I can do.
And you said you like have a lot more time. Is that just like school's not part of the equation now? It's just like, this is my job.
Yeah, football.
So are you like, what am I supposed to be doing right now?
Yeah. I still haven't wrapped my head around it, like, because I'm so used to being in school that I'm out and I'm like, I don't even know what to do.
So that's when you're just out on the practice field again. You're just like texting your teammates, like, we going out there and playing or what?
So I'm just running around, working out, doing this, like doing a whole bunch of different stuff.
What is it? I mean, you just seem to love the game so much and love everything about it. Like, what is it about it that really is contagious for you?
I would say, like, because my mom put us in football. My mom ended up passing away and my dad kept us in it.
Yeah.
Then I seen my brother's love for the game, and then they'll make us go outside and go against each other, try to see who could tackle each other, who was the fastest. So I think that like was a part of it. Yeah. Just like it was like in my whole life.
Right.
Like, it's just always been around me.
Right. It was just like we're going out back and we're playing football. That's
then
what
we go
we
to
did.
the field, play football. Like everywhere we went, we played football.
Right.
So it was always a part of me.
Yeah, I was curious. You had like we saw some analytics thing that said you were like in the 96th percentile in college football last year, like for change of direction. Yeah, 96th percentile, right? And that's like the first thing when we started watching practice that Garrett and I would say to each other is like, "Oh my God, he's so explosive! Like you just can change directions so fast and very shifty and explosive." Is that from like running away from your siblings in the backyard? Like where does that come from?
Honestly, yeah.
Yeah.
If I'm being like 100% serious, that's probably that. And then we'll play a little game called Murder Ball. After we play our Little League games, we'll go to a field and play Murder Ball with my friends. And we'll try to like, everybody try to get one person with the ball. And then we'll try to juke each other out, run
It's
around.
like dodgeball, basically?
Yeah.
Okay.
But you got to tackle the man with the ball. So it's like 20 people. So it's like 20 people chasing you around.
I see why it's called Murder Ball.
Yeah. And so you feel like that's like just as a kid, like that's kind of part of what made you who you are as a football player.
Yeah, absolutely. And playing basketball too.
Really?
He like helped me out a lot.
Okay.
All right, so tell us a little bit about your basketball career. And we heard that when you came on a visit here that they had you playing some basketball before the draft.
Yeah, I was out here whooping them. It was like, we gotta take him. We gotta take him.
I heard a different story. I heard they beat you at some.
I told you they made me play 15 games. I beat them the first 10 games, and after I started beating them, they was like, "All right, you got to get your own rebound." I got tired after 15 games, and they beat me.
Okay, yeah.
And I was like, "All right, y'all got that." They was talking trash. They was taking videos of me.
Yeah, who were you all playing? Like the Scouts or what?
Yeah, the Scouts. I was playing the Scouts.
That's funny. So it was all of them versus you?
Facts.
This is Murder Ball basketball.
That's what I'm saying. That's what I'm saying. They jumping me. I'm like, "All right, y'all got it."
And once they beat you in that 15th game, I'm sure they were like, "All right, that's it. We're done here."
As soon as they beat me, they left.
They retired.
They was like, "I'm done. It's over."
That's a veteran move.
Yeah, you go out on top.
Retire.
And when you like, and I think that was part of the reason, correct me if I'm wrong, that you felt like this was home. Like when you got drafted, you're like, this just felt like right. It felt home. And like when you came in here after getting drafted, it felt like a homecoming. I'm like, this guy, this is like, he's not been here and he's like dapping everybody up walking into the building. Like it just felt like you were coming back and seeing a bunch of old friends.
Yeah, like my first day here, I think I remember everybody's name. Like during the whole day, dapping up everybody, just clowning around. Yeah. So it just felt like home. It was like the best. It was the best visit I had.
Yeah, that's
all the other visits. I'm uptight, like looking around, like, am I allowed to talk now? But here, it was just everybody was so genuine.
That's awesome.
Cool.
So as you look forward to this season, you're learning a new offense and you're getting to know Todd Monken. I know you've said before that you really like his offense and the way that you could see yourself fitting into it. What are your impressions of him in this offense?
His offense allows everyone to be able to get the ball and just spread everybody out, move pieces around, and get everybody open. And I love him so much because, like, he's not too like uptight about it. He like lets you laugh, lets you joke around, and like let you do your thing.
I like. It struck me like first time I saw him on the field, like he's running up and down, like he's active, and he's funny. Like he's got some colorful language. If you're not where you're supposed to be at the right time, he lets you know. Like, do you like that from a coach when he's
you gotta have energy? Because I'm gonna bring more energy if I see my coach with energy. Well, how old coach is?
In his 50s, I think.
Coach is like 55. Let's say he's 55. He running full speed across the field, and I see that. I'm like, all right, I gotta go.
Right.
And I'm like, he's telling me, oh, you can't beat me across the field. You can't beat me across the field. And then it's just little stuff like that'll keep me going throughout the day.
That's awesome.
Do you get the sense that he's going to use you like everywhere in this offense?
Yeah, because I was playing all three positions, X, Z, and F. So everybody play all positions. They just rotate everybody depending on what routes and what the combination is. So
does that put a lot more on your plate from a mental preparation standpoint? It's like, man,
nah, that's what I want.
Okay.
That's exactly what I want.
That's awesome.
Just because it opens more opportunities for you to get the ball and showcase what you can do.
Absolutely.
Yeah. I guess the receiver, that's the receiver mentality. Like, put me wherever, get me the ball, I'll make things happen.
As long as I'm touching the ball, I feel like I can make a play from anywhere, no matter where it is.
And that was kind of like, I feel like that was almost a misconception when you got drafted that was like, oh, okay, he could be a slot receiver. It's like, well, no, you played mostly outside.
75% outside in college.
Right. So you feel comfortable outside or inside, wherever it is.
Absolutely.
As long as the ball's in your hand.
As long as the ball in my hand, I'm good.
And do you like, like one of your highlights, your main highlights from Boston College was like the reverse, I think you were supposed to pass the ball, right? And then
yeah.
Right?
I did that a couple times.
Did you?
Then came back around, all the way back around.
Yeah, that's where the murder ball stuff came into play on that play.
That's what it's like.
Yeah, it felt just like that. But do you like being used in some creative ways like that where you can, like on that play, you're running reverse, you could throw, you could run, like however it is?
Like, I just want to touch the ball.
Yeah.
Like, I don't care how. Screens, deep balls, intermediate routes, shallow crosses, like, it don't matter. As long as I'm touching the ball, I feel confident enough to help the team. Like, I feel like I can help the team just touching the ball.
That's awesome.
Well, my favorite highlight of yours from college was when you big boyed that guy and you went on the deep ball and then you rose
Louisville.
Yeah,
Louisville.
You didn't tell Lamar it was against Louisville. So you leave that part out.
I told him. I said, I used to love playing y'all. But he did us bad when I was in there, too, so I can't say nothing. He scored 7 times.
Yeah, that's right. He got you. You got him back.
Yeah, he got it.
That's funny. So do you take, being a shorter wide receiver, do you kind of play with that chip on your shoulder? It's like, I'll still big boy you, like it doesn't matter. I'm gonna elevate and I'm gonna play bigger than you.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Like, because they're gonna always try to criticize you for something. So
yeah,
I try to use that to my advantage and prove everybody wrong.
How, Steve Smith, obviously, you talked about how he was one of your idols growing up, and he played that way, certainly.
Yeah.
Do you have distinct memories of watching him? And your dad, I think, was even bringing
always,
him up, right?
My dad, always. He said, you got to play like Steve Smith. You got to be bigger than what you really is. I'm like, all right, Dad. All right. I used to just tell him all right all the time. I'm like, this is getting annoying now. Then I really started seeing what he's saying. Like, I wasn't a big body. So I had to take everything into account, how to use my body, how to lean on people, how to separate from people. So I just used all that.
With Steve, like the day after you got drafted when you were here, he called you.
Yeah.
And like, I think he was excited about the opportunity to talk with you, and it was a surprise for you. Did it mean something to you? Like, he played here, he's calling you, he's welcoming you to the team, and like, this is a guy that you grew up watching. Like, what was the significance of that to you?
Like, I can't even explain it because my dad forced it in my head so much that Steve Smith, that he became my favorite player. And I love how he played the game, passionate and hard every play. So that's how I try to play, passionate and hard every play. And when I seen that, when I was able to talk to him, it was unbelievable. Like, as soon as I was done, I called my dad. I was like, Dad, I just talked to Steve Smith.
That's cool.
And he was just laughing. So it was like dreams come true. It's crazy.
That's awesome.
The follow-up question is, do you talk like Steve Smith?
Nah.
No. Okay.
I'm more like happy. I'm gonna laugh at you. Like, during the play, I'm gonna just laugh. I ain't gonna really talk. I'm gonna just let you have it. Talk. Laugh, walk off, come back, try to score, and you laugh in your face after I score. Just stuff like that. I don't talk too much.
Now, I am curious, and this honestly is not in like a trash talking way, but is there any like DB that you just really respect their game, and you're like, man, I kind of can't wait to go up against that guy just to see where I'm at because I think he's such a good player.
No, I feel like every DB like got their own game, man.
Yeah.
Just everybody at this level gonna be good. They're gonna be smart, fast, physical. Yeah. So I was just waiting to play everybody.
Right.
To see what it's really like in the league, see if it's really a difference.
Right.
Yeah. Did you, when you got on the field for minicamp and OTAs, did you feel like there was a difference from college? Like, how did it feel from those college practices?
No difference. I felt like it was a little bit more like easier and more free to me.
How so? Explain.
Because in college, our routes had to be ran a certain way to like, because we ran like revolutions. Revolutions like one, like you take a step, then the outside step count as one. Then you take another one, 2, and it match up perfect with the quarterback. So like at the top of the route, you couldn't really do moves to get open. So you just had to speed it in or break it in or just take it deep. Now I can make a move at the top of the route and Lamar still be on time. Right. I can make a move at the line, run, make another move and get open.
Interesting.
So I feel like that's what make it easier for me because I'm able to get a defender off me. Right.
And you have so many attributes, obviously, to the top end speed, like we talked, to change of direction. When you really are thinking about your game and how you separate from other wide receivers, what makes you special? What do you kind of point to the most?
I I'll say I do everything.
Mm-hmm.
I can route run. I can release.
Yeah.
I can run any route.
Yeah.
So
So you're like, I can't point to one thing.
Yeah. All of the above.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah. Well, part of this, I mean, this you can see it in your answer, like, is confidence, and which I think that like confidence for receiver and DB's got to have confidence, because if you don't, then you just
shouldn't be out there.
Right.
Exactly.
And I like
you gotta
that.
have a little diva about you.
No diva.
No,
All right, come on, stick with the word
All
confidence.
dog. All dog.
Okay, dog. That's a better D word.
Yeah.
All dog.
I like that. And like, but you got to have that confidence, because like it won't work.
Yeah, because if you don't have the confidence, now you're going to go out there thinking too much. And then you're going to be like, all right, am I doing this right? But you just go out there and say, yo, I'm going to do this. It don't really matter how I'm going to do it, but I'm going to get it done.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. And where's that come from for you?
I just feel
Murder ball.
I don't want nobody. Murder ball. I don't want nobody to stop me too. Like,
Yeah.
I want the ball, so I'm gonna go get open and try to make a play. And I love making plays and scoring touchdowns. So
Right.
I'm gonna try to get open every play.
Well, now, there's some other good targets in this offense too.
Oh, absolutely. So it's gonna make it easier.
Right,
It's gonna
right,
make
right.
it easier for everybody.
Right. I mean, is it kind of crazy? I mean, there's how many?
Mark
5
Andrews.
first-round pick wide
Yeah.
receivers on team, plus Mark Andrews, plus the
Dan-
running backs, and I mean, it's crazy.
Yeah.
It's crazy. I mean, how does it feel to be just surrounded by that many weapons?
Fun. Like, I just want to laugh. Like, it's gonna be scary. It's gonna be scary this year.
That's cool.
The other, I think, attribute from a personality standpoint that stands out to you about you when the Ravens drafted you was loyalty. So you're at Boston College,
Yep.
and you're kind of blowing up and having a lot of success, and NIL comes into play when you're in college, right?
Yep.
Between your
Junior year.
Okay, so your junior year, NIL comes into play, and guys are cashing in. You get
Yeah.
big money,
Yep.
and so you had money that could have come your way, right?
Yep.
From other schools. How's that work? So can schools call, or sponsors call? It's like sponsors
Yeah.
call, and
they call like somebody close to you. Like,
yeah,
like at that time they called my marketing agent
yeah.
and got in touch with him and was talking to him. That he came to me and they told me what he offered.
Right. So they're like, okay, the sponsors can call and say, if you transfer to this school, we have this money that's there for you.
Basically.
But you decided to stay at Boston College,
Yeah.
and you wanted to finish what you started there.
Yeah.
Like, why was that important to you?
Because I feel like with my degree, I was going to be able to get it back. I wanted to leave my name in like a history book, and I was able to be like the best receiver coming out of Boston College history. And it was about the loyalty they showed me. Like, they was the only school that offered me and let me keep my offer, basically, coming out of college.
Mm.
So it was a lot of teams that like really like took their offers back, except NC State. But BC was the first one. The coach came to see me every week. Even when I got homesick when I was there, he'd take me out to eat and just like do little things. So they like took care of me.
Yeah.
So I feel like I wasn't in debt, but I wanted to pay them back in some way.
That's so other schools, when you were coming out enough of high school, they pulled your offers.
Yeah.
And like, why was there that back and forth? And like, you just don't know. So they said, we're going to offer you this. And then
That's weird.
push comes to shove.
All I wanted was to go somewhere where they wanted me.
Yeah.
Right.
And BC gave me that chance.
Interesting. And so then you end up going in the first round and ended up here in Baltimore, and it obviously works
Best decision I ever made.
out. Yeah.
So our guy Cliff Brown wrote a really great feature story on you entitled "For Zay Flowers, It's Always About Family." So listeners and viewers, go back and make sure you read that. And a lot of people may know this, but not everybody, that you're the 11th out of 14 children. Yeah. And so I just got back from a vacation where there was 6 kids all under 8 and under.
Ooh.
And I was like, this is madness.
That's like
but that was
family.
6 kids.
Yeah.
That ain't 14 kids, right? What was it like growing up in that house? Can you shed some light on that?
Like I told you, it was competitive, but it was fun. You always got somebody to be around. Like, you got a best friend.
Yeah.
You laughing. Like, everybody in the family got their own best friend. I would say something like that.
Right.
And you always in competition. Like, you racing. You trying to see who got the best juke moves.
Right.
And you always want to have the best juke moves, so you always working on them. Then when you get to the game, see who was the best player at the park. Then it was like, oh, he was the best player. He was the best. So it's always been like a little competition between everybody.
Right. Was there any fights that ever broke out that are particularly memorable to you? Those fights had to be knockout, drag out fights here.
No, not one in particular. I can't even remember. Honestly, it was so many that it was just like they all just washed away.
Was it just arguments about who the best player was on the field that day?
Sometimes if you run somebody over in the backyard, they'll get mad and y'all start fighting. So it was just like fighting over the game,
Right.
Fighting over like who get the last piece of whatever my dad cooked. So
Yeah.
just little stuff like that.
Yeah.
So when you were a kid, did you or your siblings feel like, okay, Zay's going to be special as an athlete, or was that part of the argument? Like, was the feeling like, okay, he's going to be a first round pick, like, or he's going to be okay. That like, when did that start to become a real thing? And
When it started to become a real thing, I would say my sophomore year of college.
really,
Oh, wow.
so even when you're growing up, like, because sometimes people say like Lamar,
Oh, yeah, we always knew.
people like Lamar, you probably know this, like people talk about the legend of Lamar Jackson down in Broward County, like from the time he was a kid, but like it doesn't sound like that was necessarily.
I'll say my dad knew.
Okay,
My dad knew because I talked to one of my dad friends, and my dad friend was like, "Yeah, he always knew you was gonna be the one because you were the only one that like had like a real passion for it, that really like cared a lot."
interesting. And so then you said your sophomore year of college, it started to come.
It started to click for me too.
Right.
like,
That's what I was gonna say. Yeah.
Yeah.
When did you know? Sophomore year of college is
Yeah.
when you were like, oh,
like
wow.
my freshman year, I scored a few touchdowns. Like I scored the first game. Anthony Brown threw it to me.
Okay.
My first touchdown.
Nice.
And then after that, I was like, damn, it's kind of easy. Like I could do something. Maybe I could do something. Then the next year, I think I had like 912 yards, like 13 touchdowns.
Right.
And then that's when it really started clicking for me.
Yeah.
And I was like, all right. Then I put more work. Then I realized like, yo, I'm like the best receiver in my class.
Yeah.
If you're not looking at school names.
Yeah.
Right.
And so basically, like, it's interesting, the more success you had, the harder you worked.
Yeah.
Because a lot of times I think it goes the other way. You start to have success, and then that's easy to kind of start coasting.
Oh no, I wanted more. I wanted more.
So now you get drafted in the first round. So how's that change your work ethic?
Yeah, it's not done. I still got stuff to prove. I went receiver 3? Yeah, I was receiver 3.
Yeah.
I can't stop tone 1.
I love that mindset.
Is that a chip on your shoulder? I was like so curious about that in the draft.
Yeah, it is. But I ain't gonna let it. I ended up where I was like supposed to. That's
Right.
where I want to be.
Right.
So
But you're always going to carry that.
Have that.
yeah.
Yeah.
Well, I mean, it was historic. 4 wide receivers in a row. It never happened. So, when that happened, I was like, Zay's going to remember this. But I feel like you played it off at first. You're like, nah, whatever.
Yeah.
We see
I
the truth.
was blessed to be in the position be in this position, especially to have this team around me.
Well, so are we.
I was
It worked out really well.
It worked out
You were
perfect.
the dude that we'll be honest here. You were the guy when we were talking about the wide receivers.
Yeah, when
we were
I
like,
answered the
Zay's
phone at
dude.
the draft, I hear everybody in the background screaming, like, all right, this is where I belong.
Yeah, that's cool.
Well, I took him. I took Zay in my mock.
It's
So
it's true.
yeah,
It's
so I
true.
saw it.
It's true.
I heard about the basketball game.
Oh, you heard about that? They
I
told you?
actually
Oh,
didn't
okay,
until you
okay.
got drafted, but we'll just go with that.
I am curious about this. You grew up playing basketball. Did you play running back in your youth
I played
football?
running back.
Okay, so there's this big debate going on right now about running backs and the contracts and how much they're worth in the NFL. And there's talk about our youth running backs going to be like, you know what? If I think I have a chance to get to the NFL, now I'm going to play a different position.
Honestly, if I was a receiver, say maybe I'm a running back in high school,
Yeah.
or in college, I'd be kind of scared too.
Yeah.
If I'm honest with you,
Yeah, you think you'd be like, maybe I'll get a
because
wide
you
receiver.
grind for this your whole life,
Yeah,
and then you get to that point, then your value to a team is like tremendous,
right.
And then when it's time to come to get paid, you're gonna get paid.
Right. It's got to be a hard decision though, because I'm sure a lot of guys are wired like you, where it's like, I just want the ball. And when
Yeah.
you're a running back, you get the ball a lot.
You get the ball, you get the ball a lot.
So you're like, man, I want the ball, but I
So it
also
go both ways. It go
Exactly,
both ways.
It's a tough one.
Yeah.
I obviously the decision to go to wide receiver and focus on that worked out for you.
Yeah,
when did you switch to wide receiver?
I switched late, probably like my 10th grade year in high school.
Okay.
Yeah.
And was it? I'm guessing it
Really,
was.
my 11th grade year.
And what made you want to switch?
I was small.
Okay, yeah, so you're
I was
getting
like
beat up the running back a little bit.
140
Yeah, yeah.
I was like 140 pounds.
yeah.
Now
Okay.
you would have taken a beating.
Yeah, I'm good. I don't want to be in that box.
But like, are you kind of like watching this and seeing what's going on and being like, man, thank God,
Yeah.
thank God it kind of went that way for me.
Yeah, I mean, judging off my frame, it was never going to even happen.
Right. Cool. Well,
Well-
Zay, we're so excited to see you, man. We are so excited for training camp and the big things ahead, man. I know you're going to have a great rookie season. So
Yeah, thanks for having me.
joining us,
All right,
man.
thank you, man. So big thanks to Zay Flowers for stopping by the SeatGeek studio. Just really enjoyed the conversation with him. Likeable guy, and I'm excited to see what he can do this year. He's fun. He's really fun. Also, we want to give a shout out to our friends at DraftKings, because DraftKings is the official sports betting partner of the Baltimore Ravens and has a limited time offer that you do not want to miss. Here's what you need to do. Download the DraftKings Sportsbook app today. Use the promo code FLOCK. If you're a new customer, you can get a deposit bonus of up to $1,000. That's only at DraftKings Sportsbook. You need to be physically present in Maryland to play and over 21 years old. For help, visit mdgamblinghelp.org or call 1-800-GAMBLER. All right, so just like I said, thought Zay was great. Enjoyed the conversation with him. And I'm just excited to see like what his role in the offense ends up being right away.
Yeah, I think it's going to be pretty sizable.
Yeah, like how did the Ravens use him? I think that like there's a lot of buzz and excitement about this receiving core for good reason. But I think that like how all the pieces fit together still remains to be seen as Bateman
I think
works
it's
his
kind
way
of
back.
like he's saying, it's kind of interchangeable. Like I think he's going to be used on a lot of that underneath, like whip route, like quick change, like drags, all that stuff to get the ball in his hands early and let him make people miss and run past them.
Yeah,
you know, because he's so good with the ball in his hands. But like, he's also going to get over top of some people. They're gonna let him, I think, go down that seam and try to burn some people too. Like, so, you know, Odell, I think, is kind of that I envision as that like trusted third down, like, you know, you can rely on him to make a big play, red zone. Like, he's just a crafty vet and like used in that way primarily. Bateman, you can use in a variety of different ways. Boundary guy. I mean, can also run past people. I just think like they're pretty interchangeable. All three of those wide receivers, and Aguilar being the big play guy, you know, is the number 4 kind of, and
Duvernay.
Yeah.
And Duvernay has the ability to go deep with his speed. I mean, Duvernay might be the fastest guy on the team.
Well, and the end around stuff. I mean, he's another guy you like to get the ball in his hands.
I know. I mean, you made the point that like, there's a lot of weapons, and figuring all that out is a good problem to have that I'm sure Todd Monken is kind of sorting through right now. Yeah. I also thought his, you know, when I brought up like, you know, the reputation was like, oh, a slot guy, and he's like, nah, 75% of the routes were outside.
He knows that stat.
He knew that stat right off the top of his head. He's heard that a time or two, and I think that kind of gives you an indication of where he thinks his role could be. Like, it's just going to be that jack of, it, like you said, interchangeable. And I think that I just. There's a lot, like I said, a lot of buzz and excitement about the receiving core, and I think it's going to be really good. I just am like curious to see how it all comes together as Bateman gets fully healthy and back integrated into the offense. As Odell, we've seen Odell for 2 days of practice,
right?
Limited reps, like. Yeah. When he's on the field, full go. When Zay kind of missed some time during the offseason, like once all these guys are on the field, full go, what does it look like? I'm curious to see, and I can't wait.
Yeah, I just really love Zay's energy. You know,
he's
like
got great energy.
Yeah, this like great balance of confidence yet hunger. You know, like you can just, he oozes that. He didn't like when you called him a diva.
No, you called him a diva.
I did not call him a diva. I said I like a little diva, but I don't like the diva in a bad way of like complaining when you don't get the ball. Yeah, diva. Right. But like you got to want that ball. You got to want it. You got to want it. And but that was funny. Well, he proved you wrong. You wrong in the chemistry, Garrett. Big point.
Yeah.
You, Mr. Chemistry doesn't matter.
Right.
Really. Interesting.
I thought his point was interesting on that in talking about just the number. I mean, this is like football X's and O's. We're in the weeds here. Yeah. But in talking about the way that they counted steps at Boston College and the way they count steps in a route in the NFL, how there's some subtle differences there, and that gives them a little bit more freedom. I thought that was an interesting point.
Yeah.
And I don't know if that's just a difference in offenses from Boston College to the Ravens specifically, how other teams in the NFL do it. I don't honestly know the answer to that.
Yeah.
But he clearly likes it.
He's going to have some more moves. He's going to be putting some more moves on people at the top of routes, basically.
And for a guy like that who's got agility that's such off the charts, I think that's a good thing.
Yeah, I mean, his ability to separate is really top notch, and that's what the NFL is about. Can you separate?
Yep.
If you can separate and get open, and then if you can do what he can with the ball in his hands, you're going to have a lot of success in this league.
Yeah.
So, how high does Zay get drafted? I mean, where do you draft Zay in fantasy?
I don't know,
because you got all these other targets. Like, it's hard to project like what Zay's numbers will look like exactly, because there are Mark Andrews and OBJ and Bateman and all these guys.
I've said it before. I think it's really difficult to predict who ends up leading the team in all these different categories from a receiving standpoint. I just think it's really hard to tell because of all the things that I just mentioned.
Yeah.
So I don't know. I think it's. it's a great unknown. I think it'll come into focus over the course of training camp a little bit, but not even entirely, because like Bateman's going to be working back. Odell, I'm sure they're going to kind of ease him along. He's not going to be taking a ton of reps early in camp. So I think that like it's going to be one of those things you go into the season and there's some mystery around how that all works together.
Well, I'll be interested to see what goes on the Zay Flowers whiteboard.
Yes.
What goes on there?
Yeah.
Does he put 1,000 on there? That would be lofty for a rookie.
And sitting with him and talking to him and hearing the way, I don't think he's putting like, I want to have 450 receiving yards. I don't think he's like,
well, it's certainly not that.
He's not putting a goal on there that he thinks is like an easy attainable goal.
Right.
You know, he's putting a lofty goal. Like his goals at Boston College,
like break all the records,
break every record and be a first round pick. Like that's the way that he thinks, and that goes to that confidence. And I like that. And so I think that 1,000 probably is going to be on that whiteboard.
You think that'll be on the whiteboard? All right. That would be an excellent, amazing rookie season.
And hearing the way that he talks, I feel like that's where his mind is.
Right.
And I like that.
Yeah.
So in terms of timeline here, just so listeners and viewers know where we are, rookies reported last Tuesday. Quarterbacks arrived here on Thursday. The rest of the squad gets here tomorrow on Tuesday, and the first practice is going to be on Wednesday. All right, so that's the full rundown.
And we'll do a podcast after Wednesday's practice to really kind of break down everything that happened on day one.
Yeah, we're also going to have a full training camp preview podcast.
Yep.
We're going to dive into all of this, which is going to come out on Wednesday morning. So there's going to be a lot of stuff that we're working on. But before we wrap up here, we got emails, all right? So it's been a little while. Mink takes vacation every other week.
It's vacation season.
Every
Is that
other
a
week?
new shirt, by the way? That looks like a vacation shirt. That looks like a Tommy Bahamas.
I should be on vacation, yeah. You would know. You've just been living on the beach for the last month. So
yeah, right.
So we haven't done a podcast together in a little while, and so we got these emails here to the lounge at ravens.nfl.net. The last time we did a podcast together actually was the ice cream truck draft.
I see where this is going.
And
you're the one that pulled the emails this week, so I know all the ones you pulled.
I mean, it was another dominant performance by me in the ice cream truck draft. This from Christian in Michigan says, I'm an avid listener of the lounge that I have never written before, but I just could not miss the opportunity to write and say that Garrett destroyed Ryan in the draft. It was not even close. Not even close. It was over by the third round. Well done, Garrett. Great picks. Your ice cream truck would make millions, sir. Trevor.
What?
Even your ice cream truck would make millions.
What?
Sir.
Yeah. With the face? With the face?
Yeah. All right. And then Trevor Watson says, the ice cream draft was all over the place. At points, I thought Mink was winning. At points, I thought G was. But the first and second picks were good. But Mink not being aware of how good the faces are. You're hating on the
face.
Anything with a face from an ice cream truck. And then taking a firecracker as an example of how he's getting up there in age. You're just getting up there in age.
Look, I heard a little heat for taking the Choco Taco, number 2 overall, and people being like, well, it's discontinued. Look, the exercise, you assume the item's at the truck. If it's not on the menu board, if it's not at the truck, it ain't on the menu board. All right, so the Choco Taco is available.
Yeah, but by the way, on the Choco Taco, I didn't even say this in when we did the draft, but like they canceled it. Klondike canceled.
But that's what I'm saying.
No, but they canceled it. If it was so popular,
yeah, there was outrage. There's outrage, including by me.
There was not outrage. There was like 3 people.
There was rioting in the streets.
There was one person who was like, "Hey, they don't have the Choco Taco anymore." Oh, okay.
No.
So
no. Taco fans unite and prove this man wrong.
That was also your first pick, which is hilarious, Trevor. I think. Clearly, G won the draft due to his range of picks.
No, your day 3 picks were atrocious.
Yep,
I'll give you credit. You hit a couple Pro Bowlers.
Here we go, John. I mean, I can keep going. I have thousands.
What about my guy Jordan Fitchett?
I have thousands.
What about my guy Jordan Fitchett?
Of emails.
Thousands. My guy
Hundreds
Jordan Fitchett said, I may be basic, but I think Mink got this one. Garrett, your draft had a lot of stars in the first couple rounds, but when they go down, you don't have anyone in the last few rounds. Mink has reliable backups.
Yeah. I guess backups don't win you back.
Judons. I had some Matt Judon picks.
Yeah, but Matt Judon's not a backup. Matt Judon was a late pick.
Exactly. That's what I'm saying. It was a late pick, but a star.
You lost the draft if someone's praising your backup. So like, hey, you got a great JV squad.
Depth. You had no depth. To his point, if you had a
great JV squad, who cares about the JV squad? I got great starters. I got Hall of Famers.
If your Chipwich melts, like gets a little soft, and you're like, I can't eat this. You got nothing left. You got nothing left.
Sure. My second pick, I went Chipwich, and then what was it?
You had the thing with the peanuts on top. The
drumstick.
Drumstick.
Yeah.
All right, the drumstick's pretty quality.
Yeah, exactly.
That was it, though. That was the end of it for you.
No,
those were the only two good
as
picks
my
you
guy
had.
Trevor just said, anything with a face is a great draft.
No, it's
and
not.
then Sam emails, says the subject line is draft of the ages. Once again, you knocked it out of the park with another draft. The drafts you do highlight, or one of my highlights is being a Ravens fan.
Wow.
I'm glad we can bring you that levity.
I love it.
And then he says, perhaps the best line. You got some praise for your debate style here. It was when Ryan shouted, "What does anything with a face even taste like?"
That's true. What are you, Hannibal Lecter?
And so he says Garrett would have won the draft by unanimous decision, but he kind of confuses himself because he said, "I hated on the creamsicle, but then I took the creamsicle. I didn't actually take the creamsicle. You ended up with the creamsicle
with the last pick.
So I would have won by unanimous decision, but so I do win by unanimous
You're
decision.
messing this up. Anyway, it sounds like that was in support of me. Thank you, Sam.
No, that was for me. I drafted the ages. So
It was kind of split, I would say, on the reviews.
yeah, it was split like 90-10. It was a clear split. So you can email us at thelounge@ravens.nfl.net. We love to hear from you. In addition to ice cream truck drafts, we're going to be talking football over the course of the next week and weeks to come with training camp here. So send us your football questions or your ice cream truck questions, whatever you want. Thanks for listening and for watching. Talk with you again soon.